Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Will you please sit down? At the outset, let me express my appreciation to Mayor Pete Wilson and the fine people of San Diego for the very warm welcome. I also am delighted to see one or more of my former colleagues in the Congress here. It's always nice to see them, and Al and others who may be here, good morning. I have a short opening statement. We are seeing a great human tragedy as untold numbers of Vietnamese flee the North Vietnamese onslaught. The United States has been doing and will continue to do its utmost to assist these people. I have directed that all available naval ships to stand off Indochina to do whatever is necessary to assist. We have appealed to the United Nations to use its moral influence to permit these innocent people to leave, and we call on North Vietnam to permit the movement of refugees to the area of their choice. While I've been in California, I have been spending many hours on the refugee problem and our humanitarian efforts. I have directed that money from a $2 million special foreign aid children's fund be made available to fly 2,000 South Vietnamese orphans to the United States as soon as possible. I have also directed American officials in Saigon to act immediately to cut red tape and other bureaucratic obstacles, preventing these children from coming to the United States. I have directed that C-5A aircraft and other aircraft especially equipped to care for these orphans during the flight be sent to Saigon. I expect these flights to begin within the next 36 to 48 hours. These orphans will be flown to Travis Air Force Base in California and other bases on the West Coast and cared for in those locations. These 2,000 Vietnamese orphans are all in the process of being adopted by American families. This is the least we can do, and we will do much, much more.
Hi, I'm Barb McGregor, Education Specialist for the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Library and Museum. It was less than 9 months after Gerald Ford became President of the United States that he issued the statement we just heard. In that statement, he outlined his plans for what became known as Operation Babylift. At the time, in the spring of 1975, the situation in South Vietnam was deteriorating rapidly. In Ford's autobiography, he said, "Everyone suffers in a war, but no one suffers more than the children, and the airlift was the least that we could do." Today I'm here in the Leadership and Diplomacy exhibit at the museum. Behind me, you can see some of the amazing artifacts that we have on display, as well as documents and photographs of the final evacuation of Saigon. The staircase from the embassy compound, a helicopter like those used in the evacuation, and the iconic images many of us have burned into our memories. The Ford Library and Museum have some really interesting objects, documents, and audiovisuals related to Operation Babylift. Today I'm going to introduce you to some of our staff members who have responsibility for collections and exhibits. They'll be telling you a little bit more about Operation Babylift and the materials we have. First, we're going to meet Don Holloway, our curator, and he will be showing us some of the really interesting artifacts that we have from Operation Babylift. Then we'll be heading over to Bettina Cousineau's office and talk to her about this really cool website she put together in conjunction with the new Operation Babylift exhibit we have. She'll be telling you a little bit about the research that she did and some of the people that she met. After that, we'll head over to Ann Arbor and meet up with Stacy Davis, one of our archivists there. She'll be showing us some of the materials that we have online about Operation Babylift and how you can access those materials. And then we'll wrap up down in the library lobby, taking a peek at our newest exhibit, Drawdown Vietnam, Operation Babylift. At the end of this YouTube video, we will have website links so you can see both the online materials, Bettina's website that she put together, and just general Ford Library material. We're downstairs now with Don Holloway, our curator, and he's going to be talking a little bit about some of the interesting artifacts that we have here at the museum related to Operation Babylift. Don?
Thank you, Barb. The collection includes over 100 artifacts from Operation Babylift, most of which came to us from Shirley Peck Barnes, who's the author of The War Cradle, and her son David also contributed a number of the artifacts. Shirley was a volunteer during Operation Babylift. And so what you see on the table are items from that operation, including some fragments from one of the jets that went down on April 4, 1975. It was carrying some of the babies in one of the most unfortunate incidences. And then many of the other items are items that the babies were clothed in as they were being transported from Vietnam to the United States. It includes baby bottles, shoes, clothing, and other things that were used on the plane to help with the operation.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate it. Now, I know some of the artifacts that we have are in the new exhibit over at the library in the lobby.
Right, we have some on display in the lobby of the library in Ann Arbor, but then we're also renovating the core exhibit here, anticipating an opening in June of 2016, and in the new core exhibits we'll have Operation Babylift material on display.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, thank you, and thanks for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We're in Bettina's office now. As I said earlier, Bettina put together a really great website that features a lot of information about Operation Babylift, and she's going to just tell us a little bit about that website and what she did with it.
The most exciting part of the website for me was getting in touch with people that were involved in the baby lift and collecting their stories. I heard some amazing stories. This fellow named Pat was driving by when the first baby lift landed, and he heard it on the radio, and he just took a picture and stood by the fence and watched everybody disembark off the plane, and they invited him in to come and take care of the babies. So inadvertently, he spent 6 hours one night taking care of the babies. There was another fellow, Dr. Skip Burkle, who was the medical director on one of the flights. And he had an amazing story when they evacuated the last bunch of babies out of Saigon as the North Vietnamese were coming in. They carried the babies on in cardboard boxes. They discovered a bomb right before they took off. They had to take off and avoid people shooting at them. They had to take off vertically and their windshield cracked. I mean, the stories are just amazing from every player who participated in this amazing adventure. And they were also generous with their time and their resources, and they really helped fill out our website and make it a little bit more personal.
Thanks, Bettina. It really is. I've had a sneak peek at it, and it's really fascinating. At the end of this YouTube video, we will have the website link so you can get to it and see the great work that Bettina did. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Well, today we're at the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Library over in Ann Arbor. We took a quick trip over here to meet with our archivist, Stacy Davis. Stacy is going to be telling you about some of the Operation Babylift materials that we have digitized and on our website. Stacy?
Well, thank you, Barb. The Ford Library has a small amount of material related to Operation Babylift, and we've digitized it to make it more useful to researchers so they can access it anywhere. Although the operation itself was not organized or planned by the White House, it was organized by the AID. President Ford did authorize the funds and for the operation to take place, as well as he went out and he was in California and he met with a plane of the orphans that were arriving, and we have photos as well as documents related to that. First, I'm just going to show you the main our main web page and how to get to the content that we have related to Babylift. First, you want to click on the digital collections page, and then you can either go to the top here and look at all of our digital content, or you can specifically go here to our Foreign Affairs and National Security section. which this topic falls under. And then you'll see that we have selected documents related to Vietnam, but then right underneath it we have some specific documents related to Operation Babylift, and I'm going to click on here. We've provided a little introduction about what we have, and we have a link to the Shirley Peck Barnes papers. She was a woman that was involved with the care of orphans as they came to the United States, and worked with the Friends of Children of Vietnam organization, and subsequently did research and wrote a book about the topic. So we have her papers here at the Ford Library. But down below here we have some selected things that we thought researchers would find useful, such as President Ford's daily diary of what he did on that day. And if you just click on it, you can open it up and see it for yourself. Any of these documents that are available online, you are free to download and save to your computer, so you can use them for your research or save them for another time. But this shows President Ford's activities during the day, including meeting with General Wayne early in the day, and then later in the day he meets the plane. We also have we have a selection of Ford contact sheets. These are for the index prints related to this topic. And if you just click on one of these links, it'll pull up a contact sheet, and then researchers can then download. They can pick out photos that they want, and they can contact the Ford Library about getting either a digital reproduction or a print. We also have excerpts from Ford's memoirs and some other memoirs of Ford staff related to Operation Babylift. We have reading copies of President Ford's statements as well, and all the White House press releases that we located that were related to this, including Ford's statement about the Babylift. And I'll zoom it so you can kind of see it. Pause for a second. So this gives a good overview of what was going on. And then we also have the Theodore Mars files. There's an Operation Babylift folder, and it contains about 51 pages related to Operation Babylift. So researchers, again, can download this and either print this at home or can view it online.
Great, thanks, Stacy. That's really interesting. I've been through some of the materials myself, and there's some fascinating documents in there. So we appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule today to talk to us. And now we're going to make our last stop down in the lobby of the library to view the recently opened Drawdown Vietnam Operation Babylift exhibit. Before we head back to Grand Rapids and the Gerald Ford Museum, we're going to make one last stop here in the library lobby, where we have recently installed the newest exhibit, Drawdown Vietnam Operation Babylift. The exhibit covers the time period of April 1975 and really is kind of a summary of the things that we've talked about and shown you so far. The exhibit includes artifacts from the museum's collection, documents from the library holdings, and Bettina's website that she told you about was done in collaboration with the exhibit. So we get to see all aspects of our materials and some of the materials available having to do with Operation Babylift. We hope you've enjoyed this little introduction to our holdings. I want to thank a few people. I'd like to thank Elizabeth Druga, our visual archivist, Stacy Davis, archivist here at the library, Jamie Draper, our registrar, exhibit specialist Bettina Kuzno, and Kristen Mooney, who's been hiding behind the camera while we put this together. So thank you to our amazing staff. And again, we hope you enjoy this little introduction to our holdings. You will see a website, or you'll see a page in a moment with a website to both the Library Museum homepage as well as Operation Babylift homepage and Bettina's video. We hope you enjoy looking at those. And I'd like to conclude now with just a couple of minutes of silent video that was taken when President Mrs. Ford met one of the first planes arriving in California with orphans and young children and infants. Please feel free to contact either the library or the museum if you have any more questions. And thanks for your time.
On a crisp January day in 1977, the new president's first words expressed profound gratitude.